Hello, this is Rosia Shive, another Rosia Shive's Thought Bubble, and I wanted to come and talk about this little article that was written on Medium by TwoBitIdioit, otherwise known as Ryan Seacliffe. He goes by the name of TwoBitIdioit. He's the founder of Mercy's Crypto. He was with Consensus. He's part of the founding teams of CoinDesk and DCGO, the digital currency group. He's an angel investor, writer, plotter, strong opinions, and mind deeply held. You might know him from the community as being one of the early individuals that broke the Mt. Gox story and breaking it down. A lot of mainstream media was coming to him from his articles of the leaks and his insight. He was one of the earlier writers of, serious writers of the Bitcoin community, kind of break it down, who's who, the people, the tech. He had like a Tumblr account where he started off of, and eventually he was part of CoinDesk, and then broke out on his own and Medium and things of that nature. He was also caught up in the whole Bitcoin Foundation, that whole scandal, trying to get some of the kind of bad founders, get them to resign and things of that nature. So he's been around this space for a very long time. You kind of see him on Twitter. He's very well respected as one of the, I would say, better journalists in this space. And one of better, I would say, this overall people, just spokespeople in the space, writing about the space, have an understanding of the cryptocurrency space. This is his company, Mercy. And then here's a little bit about some of the stuff that he had been writing about, explaining the Mt. Gox leaks, about the Bitcoin Foundation, things of that nature. I personally found him through Tumblr and Reddit, but mostly Tumblr. Followed him for a while from there and just been following him ever since, really. But we're going to talk about his 95 crypto thesis for 2018. And he raises some great points that have been kind of been bantered around and talked about in this space. Primarily, one of them is the whole concept of the assassination market, which comes from very early on in the cypherpunk movement. I won't get into it now, what the assassination market is. Beyond the concept of just basically you put a bounty or a price on somebody's head and then someone takes it and they try to kill that person. Just the basic nuts and bolts of it right now. It's a little bit more detailed and a little bit more nuanced than that. We'll talk about the architect of the concept of the assassin market, and what it entails and the philosophy behind it. I know it sounds very extreme, and it is very extreme, but there's a bit of a purpose to it. And we'll talk about how people feel that eventually Bitcoin is going to get to where you can have this concept, this really radical, out there idea into existence. So. Now, I'm not going to read everything he's written here, but it is broken out into some really key points about crypto price and investing. And so he breaks it down to almost like a little bit about 10 or depending on the 20 points per point, if you will. About the people and the personalities in this space. Tax and estate planning, what people should do. On the Nove Reach, the people that have just come into this vast amount of money. What the fuck, Darker Thoughts, Shinoda Fair and Darker Thoughts. The ICO and crypto fund craze. Needs and wants in space. Mungerism. And then he redacted 74 through 94, and then he posted 95. So I'm going to read the beginning, a little bit of his introduction, and then I'll talk about some of the really key highlights and what he's trying to talk about here in this space about the future and what we need to do as a community and the direction the community can be going, and how it could easily kind of unravel yet go into some very bizarre directions, and whether that's good or not good for the overall space. So let us begin. This is from Medium. He wrote this January 2nd. So I wanted to share my thoughts from some of this year's exercise, since so many of them had to do with crypto. Some of these might be helpful to you, others might offend you. Still, others might seem stupid, simple, or obvious, but offer them up because writing for such a great long-term audience sharpens my mind and weeds out half-baked thoughts. Enjoy. On crypto pricing and investing. 1. 2017 through 2019 will be the big crypto bubble. Things will get nuttier from here, far nuttier than the dot-com era. The retail investor base is 10x larger with 24/7 access to the FOMO and get-rich-quick-isms. And we've got CNBC to help with the pump. So yeah, CNBC is being given a lot of criticism in the space for the fact that they help pump Ripple. I think they put NIM. They're talking about every other kind of crypto except for Bitcoin, telling people how there's this whole thing about how to buy Ripple and how it was the best buy opportunity and things of that nature. And just really bad financial advice and just a really bizarre outlook about the cryptocurrency space. I wouldn't even call it journalism. It seems like they're being paid marketers to promote and pump these different cryptocurrencies or crypto concepts, emphasizing just simply on the block chain and not on the actual token or the devs or anything that like that behind it. They're almost no different than some of these YouTube pumpers in the space, but they're part of a multi-billion-dollar company. So he's basically talking about here about how there's more noobs and dumb people and dumb money coming into space than there are, sound thoughts, sound money, people that are here for the right reasons. So 1. Unbelievably, the institution will lost money in this time, with the future markets and custody solutions just coming online, and the mythical ETFs perhaps not too far behind. This has been properly hyped, and I think I can see a Q1, Q2 stampede. That hasn't exactly quite happened. It seems like the institutional money is being very weird, even extra cautious, if you will. Some are saying that they're trying to manipulate the market as they best can to pick up Bitcoin and all these coins on the cheap. Others are saying that they may have underestimated the nature of the cryptocurrency space. It's kind of all over the place of what people think about institutional money, and the fact that it's not even fully here. There are some people that are not very much for these things like the ETF, the futures market, and just institutional money in general, that maybe we're not either technically fundamentally ready, or 2, we don't need them, or 3, why are we using these type of different instruments that might not necessarily fit within the whole concept of the cryptocurrency space. So, there are only like 5 people talking about the fundamentals right now. Most seem to be targeting on the same general view. I call it the crypto asset barbell. Cryptocurrency, sky limit, utility tokens heading to zero, and smart securities coming soon. BTC, ETH, Zcash, and XMR are the main cryptocurrencies. You can still have a lot of room to run. Money is a reflexive asset. Where more people buy in it and use it and believe in it, the more value it gets. Cryptocurrency is the ultimate momentum play. So that's 3. 4, utility token valuation could theoretically be capped at the future. Maximum utility value in the network divided by velocity. Kind of get some more technicals about utilities. Talks about how some from Litecoin wrote a great piece about how some of these attempts mostly will fail, some of them limited success. So you say pretty much everyone's saying that there's a lot of shit coins out there, utility coins or concepts that are just not going to pan out. So it kind of talks about that. Talks about the BTCH is tough to root for, but you have to be long as a hedge. If BCH loses badly, I'll doubt we'll ever see an on-chain BTC scaling, and core stranglehold on the dev roadmap will be cemented. But if BCH wins, it could take down the whole asset class, rock hard place. So two different viewpoints about the whole splitting of the fork. BTC equals reserve currency for people that hate the Fed. ETH equals reserve currency for people that hate the SEC. And XMR reserve currency for people that hate Big Brother. And Dogecoin equals reserve currency for people who don't care about money. So, okay, forks. Okay, here's this highlight. It was by Derek Meter. Forks with airdrops will become the preferred alternative to ICOs. You can give away free money in order to get people excited about the new improved project. The only thing that they pay attention is the people who truly buy in and become your collaborators. 18. Stablecoins will work until they don't. Sure, the base coin and MakerDAO teams are strong, but these things will always break under not so black swan market conditions. And like the fiat currency, they aim to replace. Once they break, they'll be broken for good. 19. Token sales for decentralized derivative protocols. Tokens to short token. What could go wrong? There's no rhyme or reason to crisis in crypto, point 20, and there will not be in 2018. Best to embrace it. This will be a sentiment-driven market until the crash. Stay safe and embrace the opportunity. Well, we did have a bit of a crash. It'd be interesting to see if we're able to keep up and get momentum and go past 10,000 and kind of slowly climb up. Very much slower sideways movements, maybe not such the radical leap that we did from 7 to 20,000 that we had towards the end of 2017. But we might be just kind of bouncing between, I would say, 8,500 and about 10 grand, I think, for a little bit, for a while anyways. People and personalities. So he talked about some of the people in this space. So he talks about Vitalik. He says all the right things. It strikes me as once in a generation type of visionary leader for Ethereum community. That's point number 21. That said, whether he ends up like Steve Jobs or Elizabeth Holmes, presents on some pretty ambitious technical breakthrough. Crypto is so polarizing that I don't know what to believe are their potential. 22. There's only one Andreas, and we're lucky to have him. There's no more deserving person in crypto to earn a windfall gain than Andreas Antonopoulos. He had been patient zero for meeting the industry, and his positivity and authenticity are examples for all. The $1.5 million in counting is donations he received made for a feel-good story for the year. He also talks about a little bit later how he's a little bit jealous of someone who's been writing in this space for so long that everyone wishes they could be, Andreas. But Andreas is actually very deserving. Yes, Craig Wright could be part of Satoshi. Satoshi was jerking emails, and CSW is jerking real life. Satoshi had a fat early stash. These things have been early to BTC, no matter your opinions of him. CSW convinced Gavin and some other smart and early Bitcoiners to be the same person. Finally, and this is for the clincher for me, if you were Satoshi, you'd probably be paranoid to the point of believing that no matter the extremes you went to remain hidden at a large enough value of Bitcoin holdings, powerful people will eventually dox you. What better way to hide in plain sight than to get to an army of smart Bitcoiners describing you and mocking you as a con artist? That's how genius you can play things. I think that's a bunch of bullshit. Maybe just playing with us on that one, but I don't think Craig Wright is associated. A lot of people are in that camp. So he says you should read everything that Chris Mincy writes. So many crypto podcasts right now. I'm thinking of doing one because it's probably easier than writing. But that's why I ultimately won't do one. Laurentians Unchained is the most professional. Their events offers a broy alternative by working with Barstool guys. Brian Cran's Epic Center podcast is great, and like Arthur follows the third web mostly because of his South Sea accent. I think I would put Bitcoin podcast in there as a great one, as well as Let's Talk Bitcoin, old school there. Okay, the best crypto Twitters to follow is True Dimitri, Ari Paul, James Lott, Andreas, and EG, and Fountain Ledger. And then there's Navel, the most underrated, overrated person on Twitter. I'm a contrarian, so I feel a little dirty saying this, but I gobble up most of his recommendations, including his epic reading list, Spades and Sovereign Individuals, especially as must-reads for anyone in crypto, and the Fairman Street podcast was also worth the hype. And he asked people to follow him. So tax and estate planning. So this is something I've been talking about, and I'm glad he put this out as point 31. Everyone in crypto should open their own donor advised fund. As long as you've held for 1 year or longer, you can give property and write it off the fair market value of your investment and avoid taxes on gains of those assets. I think 2018, you're going to see a lot more of this. I've already talked about Brock Peterson doing something. Vitalik has been giving away stuff, and there's been Pineapple Fund. There will be more people, especially if taxes start getting rejected. If some of those IRS returns get rejected and the IRS is asking more from people, expect to see more of this happening this year. Okay. Now that the Coinbase precedent has been set, this is point 33. Expect Polo, Bittrex, and all the other major exchanges with U.S. customers to fork over trading records for clients about a certain trading threshold. I take crypto tax evasion for 1,000, Alex. Doing specific ID analysis for crypto trading is tough enough when it's just Bitcoin. Add a dozen other pairs and accounting easy mess. So it's going to be a lot of hard. He's basically saying it's going to be very, very, very hard for people to actually lawfully report. He does say expect more people to renounce their citizenship in high tax countries and more people to move their legal residency to lower tax states. This is going to be a multi-billion-dollar game of IRS cat and mouse that plays out over the years. I know some people who are essentially buying free houses, quote-unquote legal residency, that they hope will save them millions in state capital gains tax by creating a nexus in lower-income states. And here, I think is pretty important. The new guy rich. 36. Most of the money hasn't been actually earned yet, as Vitalik points out. That will damage the psyche of many of the new crop of millionaires that did little but click by at the right time and now find themselves wealthy, but woefully underqualified for most employment. It won't happen overnight, but many of the winners will end up deeply dissatisfied. I can see you wiping your fake tears. Yeah, this is going to be a problem with some of the individuals in this space, particularly that I was saying coming out of the Ethereum class. They made some sound trades. They held maybe Ethereum. They got into the right ICOs, and now they're millionaires. Now what for them? They're very young, most of them. They have not completed college or have any skill sets, and they have all this money. Do they actually have the kind of economic training to build off of that wealth? Or are they going to spin themselves into the gutter? Security. He's going to get into this. The fact that some people might even feel a bit guilty. Their friends, he talks about this in 39, bit shaming. Real world friends and crypto people alike can overestimate your net worth by a factor of 10. I think you start from a small base, don't get employee equity or aren't an expert lucky trader or an OG. So people are going to start messing with you, thinking you're much more rich than you really are. He also says that there'll be some true Hollywood crypto stereotypes of shit coming out in the not so distant future. The bad thing about life-changing amounts, this comes from 37 money, is often a curse. 70% of lotto winners end up broke within years, but after $75K in a household income, your happiness doesn't change. So, dropping down here. What TF are Schroeder feared and darker thoughts. As 41, as Warren Buffett says it's not greed that drives the world, but envy. It's okay to celebrate with a 23-year-old asshole day trader who pumped and dumped his way to riches, bought a Lambo, gets wrecked, and margin called to oblivion and flash crash. But 41 but it's much better to use envy and anger as a motivation factor to stay ahead down and build something with long-term value. Get rich slow and be happier building something with staying power. And then he talks about 42 about Andreas Windfall and how everyone wishes they could be Andreas. 43. There's a special place in hell for people who backstab their teams and don't spread the wealth in a 100x vertical market. I might break my hands for clapping so hard when certain people watch their top talent turn over this year. Fuck them. In this market, 99% hard work and 1% sugar can help preserve your sanity. Dropping down. 45. For the super wealthy, be your own bank only works if you're relatively unknown in the industry. I fear we'll see numerous kidnappings and blackmail cases where top personalities are extorted successfully. Expect to see more personal security details in 2018, and this should scare the shit out of people. Not enough people are taking, I would say, their personal security soundly, if you will. There's already been a number of cases of people being kidnapped, being robbed by friends and family. There's already been that Canadian incident where people were held by gunpoint. In Turkey, there was a man who was snatched so that they can gain access to his cryptocurrency. In case, I think this is the one that I must have missed. Cryptocurrency expert kidnapped for 1 million Bitcoin ransom by Morel Moon of NK. So this is embedded into the post. This was December 30th, 17. So last year. On Tuesday, cryptocurrency expert Pavel Wiener was snatched by an armed gang wearing ski mask near his office in Ukraine. It was a kidnap for ransom scheme, but with a high-tech twist. Instead of asking for easily traceable paper money, the kidnappers demanded to be paid $1 million worth of Bitcoin. It turns out New York County District Attorney Cyrus Vance was right when he said we expect cryptocurrency-related crimes outside of cyber attacks to be more common as in value searches. For the robbers, Wiener was a great target. He was a known Bitcoin authority in Ukraine and executive at a cryptocurrency exchange, XMO. He was thankfully released, shocked but alive, a couple days later, but it's unclear who made the transfer to him and whether he did it himself. His company has assured users that their coins were absolutely safe and the kidnappers wouldn't have gotten access to the wallets and personal data since Wiener himself has no access to them. So, yeah. Expect to see more of this happening. Okay, so Charlie Lee. I understand why people think this about keeping the skin in the game, but I think there's also something to say of when you're working on something and people don't have the perception that you have such control. I mean, this is a different type of economic paradigm, and maybe the old methods and old concepts or conceits don't really work as well in this space. So his point for 47 is that Charlie LTC sale was one of my least favorite things that happened all year because he's one of the industry's good guys. I should note that he was also one of the most generous supporters back when I blogged for tips in 2013 to 2014. But it's not heroic for you to eliminate conflict of interest by selling your stake after a 100x run-up that was almost certainly fueled by your own vocal advocacy, including one seen in VC. Keep skin in the game, man. Enjoy the upside or go down with the ship. 48. Dogecoin Dark. Verge was literally up over 1 million% in 2017. It's okay for you not to be okay with that, especially since it now looks like it doesn't even work as promised. Shocker. So a lot of scams, a lot of crap going in this space. Number 50. We're only a couple of years away from a fledgling and well-functioning assassination market taking shape. The initial targets would be investigative journalists who pursue shady crypto characters. That's why I will never do a Ghost-like story game, even if I had the opportunity. Another reporter that kind of got burnt in this was Mike Johnson. He was from CoinFire. He was the one that helped bring down the Paycoin scandal and the hash flares that was going on there. And his reputation got very much wrecked for it. And he's doing another story. He's back up on it about Coinbase and inside trading. But it's going to be very dangerous, if you will, if this marketplace were ever to take place. Okay, and if it doesn't pay, it's too distracting. Soon it'll be downright dangerous. Perhaps I think too highly of myself, spoiler, but I have to imagine I'm already on some kill list. I would take great pride in a foiled assassination attempt, But a successful one won't be as fun because you know I'll be dead. So you know what? I'm going to go a little bit more clarity and detail about the assassination market. So, Roger Ver has talked about this as well, which is kind of weird and scary at the same time. So this is what the assassination market is going to be like. It's also known as a death list, or you might have seen a few movies based on this, but here we go. An assassination market is a predictive market where any party can place a bet using anonymous electronic money and pseudonym emailers on the date of the death of a given individual and collect a payoff if they guess the date accurately. This would incentivize assassination of individuals because assassins, knowing when the action would take place, could profit from making an accurate bet on the time of the subject's death. Because the payoff is for the accurately picking the date rather than performing the action of the assassin, it's essentially more difficult to assign criminal liability for the assassination. Go to the history. So early use of the term the assassination market or market for assassins can be found in both the positive and negative lights in the 1994's The Kryptonian by Timothy C. May, a cyberpunker. The concept of its potential effects are referred to as assassination politics, a term popularized by Jim Bell in his 1995 to 96 essay of the same name. And that's when we will talk about that when we talk a little bit about the cyberpunk system. So the assassination market, there's actually on the inside. The first predictive market entitled Assassination Market was created as a self-described crypto-anarchist in 2013, utilizing Tor to hide the site's location and Bitcoin-based bounties and prediction technology. The site lists bounties on politicians like Barack Obama, economic spin Bernanke, and former Justice Minister of Sweden, Beatrice Ask. In 2015, the site was suspected to be defunct, but the deposited Bitcoins had not been touched. So that'd be interesting to follow up on that. So yes, so some people fear that this is going to occur and it's going to have some very detrimental effects. First, within the cryptocurrency space, where you have people saying this ICO, this, that, or whatever. Look at the whole BitConnect thing, how they're trying to twist it around that, you know, is all the people making bad video or bad tweets or bad news about BitConnect, how it's a scam, and that's why they had to shutter their business, and nothing to do with the government's coming after them. Imagine if any one of these YouTubers that did like their basic due diligence about the nature of BitConnect, who's behind BitConnect, you know, where their offices are, who their company holders are, all that, and BitConnect, or maybe someone associated with BitConnect, or someone within BitConnect, goes to the assassination market and puts a bounty on that person's head. Would other people speak out if someone were to be, you know, assassinated? So, yeah. So the purchase, this is about the ICO and crypto fund craze. This is 51. The precious investor resource in crypto right now isn't money, it's intention. So this is very true. Everyone, pretty much, you know, most of these ICOs or some of these tokens are less than $5 or $10 a piece. Some are less than pennies. So you can pick up, some of these tokens for like $10. You could probably have 1,000 in some of these ICOs. It's getting people's attention and willingness to be aware of your project, the price and all that, and thinking that they're able to flip it for, they paid $10 and somehow now they have 12 or something like that. Everyone has the ability to invest in flips right now, so true equity rounds with less liquidity needs to be priced appropriately. Treat a fundraise like an extension of your recruiting efforts and get people in at a fair price. 54. Sooner or later, these institutions will rise up to the reality that they shouldn't be paying carrying on funds, mostly denominated in BTC and ETH. When that happens, you'll see a massive influx of capital to passive index funds like Bitwise Hold 10. What's Bitwise Hold 10? New funds I'm excited about are Litecoin Capital. Okay, that's important. Needs and wants. 57. Self-regulation can and will work in this industry. You just need the right combination of social pressure, common sense, and economic leisure. It's a cat-herding exercise more than anything. 58. For the love of God, we need better crypto tax solution. It's mind-blowingly complex to do all this reporting. Even if you aren't hedged across multiple exchanges while it's involved, personal and third party, it's a nightmare to track cost basis. But as you start moving money between personal Bitcoin, Ether wallets, on and off exchanges, you have to explain why you aren't triggering taxable events. A lot of people have been saying this for a while. It needs something to change. Something needs to be changed. It needs to be consistent. It needs to understand that you can't tax the way they're trying to tax it with as properties, with the very nature of the technology itself. He advocates in 59 that we need to kind of take our newfound wealth, but also our concepts, and apply it to the medical system, because that is a problem that needs solving. He's rooting for Spank Chain. Spank Chain is one of those securities that has to do with, like it says, porn. And 61, it breaks it down. So, 61. We shouldn't be surprised that ICOs, CryptoKitties, and Spank Chain will likely be the early application winners. Gambling, nerd games, and porn are always have been the leading edge of new technologies. This is entirely predictable, but the scale of mania was not. CryptoKitties took everyone by surprise. Spank Chain, I think, kind of went up there, but CryptoKitties really took everyone by surprise. It really did. And it's still not quite up to the initial hype, but I think it's gaining momentum. And as soon as that app becomes active and you can have Chinese Ethereum holders able to access directly in a much clearer fashion CryptoKitties, you're going to see it cycle through again. Okay, Muggerism. I greatly enjoyed reading Charlie Muger's mental models regarding human misjudgment over the break. Long but worthwhile read and highly relevant to ensure you keep your head in crypto. And then he breaks it down. Cliff notes. Incentives are everything in management. Incentives are everything in management. Incentives are everything in management. 65. We're both social and tribal, which affects our biases. Our friends can't be scammers. They are our friends. Our foreign groups are scammers with pre-minds that Bitfinex pump. They should go to jail. So yeah, this is a problem within the space, again, highlighting the BitConnect scandal. Like, people didn't want to believe that the people they were following and telling them this advice, or their friends, were scamming them or being duped, if you will. It's not possible, but that's not necessarily the case. And obviously, any outsider that's criticizing, BitConnect in the manner upon which you're supposedly making money, they're just haters, and they should be the ones that should be attacked. But this is for anything, not just for BitConnect. It can go for any of the Bitcoin coins, Bitcoin Maximus, the Bitcoin cashers that want to say that Bitcoin Cash is the Bitcoin. Litecoin, Ethereum's, ICO supporters, ICO haters, we can go for any of those spaces. And so you just kind of have to be wary, do your due diligence, and understand that, your friends and even yourself can be wrong. Mm. So 71, kind of break down from, I guess you can say, his points from the book. My personal favorite is pride isn't inherently bad. Many forms of it are harmful, but justified pride is a job well done, or developing a reputation for being trustworthy, for instance, is a very healthy form of pride. So, trustworthiness is one of those value components as part of the cryptocurrency space. Being able to be trustworthy or verified, or your actions, building your reputation as someone that is credible, is so essential and important. And so many people have wrecked their trustworthiness by either latching on something that was kind of shaky, getting caught up in a scam, perpetuating a scam, cashing out and shilling themselves for all one ICO after another, or some other silliness, if you will. Saying Craig Bright is Satoshi Nakamoto. Saying Bitcoin Cash is the real Bitcoin. Silliness like that has wrecked people's reputation. And being able to build and have a trustworthy reputation, or having pride in your product that you've built, doing something well and that runs clear and clean, if you will, is important. And we kind of need to get it back to that emphasis where it's very essential to kind of keep your trustworthiness and your reputation intact, if you will, if you can, in this space. And getting back to just building good tech and building good, strong technology, and make it easier and understandable for people to utilize. Get that UI up there, and so that way more and more people can come to this space and actually be able to utilize the technology properly and be informed properly, if you will. So 95. If you like this post or this blog and my Twitter banter have helped, you may make money in the past and you'd like to send a crypto tip/gift. You can do so at one of these addresses, and he has a BTC address and an Ethereum address. Then he's announced this announcement like, well, 2017 was a phenomenal year for most of us. I haven't really cashed in on the token craze. I'm not a multi-gazillionaire yet, so yes, your contributions are so appreciated. So I can pay the $25K a month bill for Cobra as I start up my new venture and build up some dry powder to pay my ransom when I'm kidnapped. Please don't kidnap me, though. I'm busy. I personally kind of want to highlight. I'm surprised no one's done so. Here. Oh. So I think it is covered pretty much what everyone's really been talking about for a while. How difficult it is to be your own bank. How there is a need for security. How she should, as Vitalik points out, we haven't exactly earned this kind of money exactly, really fundamentally. Um, they, build a fund to give away, if you will. The IRS, or the tax situation in all these different countries, need to get this shit together. Highlights on the better people to listen and talk to, because it's essential and important for people to have sound voices, that can kind of guide them in this space, give them some sound advice or some sound information, and for them to be able to absorb that information and be able to make, whatever choices they make, have a strong foundation to be in this space. And there's not enough of it going on, or maybe we need to consolidate it a little bit and upvote it or amplify it so more and more people are aware of their existence, because they're getting drowned by the rubbish, really, the quick money schemes and the FOMO, as pointed out in point 1. That's pretty much it. It was just kind of a very interesting read. It kind of like the whole airdrop. A lot of people have been saying that while the airdrops might be a nice alternative to ICOs, the problem with airdrops is that there is a security risk, because you have to enter your private key to order to receive those airdrops. So that means there's another data point that can track your Bitcoin to and identify you as an individual. And so if you're looking for privacy and safety, particularly if you don't want people to know how many assets you have or how crypto rich you are, you might not necessarily want to participate in a number of these different types of airdrops, particularly ones that don't have replay protection. So it means that if you move your Bitcoin, you are also moving those coins as well. So there's that. That's it. I just kind of want to highlight this. I may talk about him again next week with some of the other articles. He kind of breaks down some of his more points. I also wanted to talk a little bit about the assassination marketplace here. I will go into that when I talk about some of the cyberpunk stuff that isn't quite getting highlighted in the space. But overall, I do like TwoBitIdioit. I don't agree with everything. I don't agree with him that Craig Wright is Stitch Nakamoto, but maybe he's being sarcastic there. I think his points on the ICO are pretty good. I think, though, that the mechanism of an ICO is not talked about enough. Like the ICO is a tool to raise funds for a solid company or a business. I don't think it's often discussed enough. People just emphasize on the scamminess of the tool, people using that tool instead of maybe figuring out a way for ICOs to be used properly, or highlighting companies that have used ICOs in a proper fashion. So that's it. Those are my thoughts. Thank you all for listening. You can like, subscribe, share, comment below. Until next time, tune in.